Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this soggy Christmas day. I'm Tim Gordon. It's 43 degrees in the Rose City. You know, rain's been falling for much of the day, really heavy at times, and we're also seeing wind impacts on the coast, as well as potentially very big snow amounts in the mountains. That got us to issue a weather impact alert this evening and through the night. Let's get right to Celine Stevens in the KGW Weather Center. And Celine, what's the latest out there?
It's definitely raining. It's been raining all throughout the day, and that's going to continue as we get into tomorrow as well. And taking a look at the Pioneer Park building, temperatures low. It's 43 degrees outside right now. Those winds blowing at 15 miles per hour, and wind is definitely going to be the story as we get into the rest of our evening. But taking a look at our satellite, you're going to see that rain's just been moving through the area again over the last few hours. We've been seeing the snow in the Cascades along the passes as well, and pretty moderate rain at some points as well. We've already seen around 3/10 of an inch for today, and again, this only picks up as we get through the rest of our evening. But taking a look at our futurecast again, this continues throughout the evening. By Thursday 2:30 early in the morning, we're going to be seeing more heavy moderate rainfall in the Portland area. Of course, that snow continuing in the Mountain Hood region, and this continues throughout Thursday. Once we get into around the afternoon, it's going to transition to showers. This takes us through the day, and then by Thursday evening, another system is swinging in, bringing us more rain overnight, and that'll take us into Friday, kind of a rinse and repeat again, showers and then more rain as we get into the weekend. And so as a result, we have a few things to look out for. We have this winter weather advisory for the mountain areas above 4,500 feet. They could be seeing up to a foot of snow in that elevation around 4,500, and above that they could see up to 2 feet of snow. So expect snow on the passes as well. We're also seeing a high surf advisory for the coast. They could see breakers up to 30 feet. So the beaches are going to be impacted, very dangerous for people. If you are in that area, you want to get back away from the coast because again, those waves pretty big. We're also seeing a high wind warning. We could see those winds up to 65 miles per hour. But taking a brief look at what we're looking at again tonight through Thursday morning, we're seeing this impact alert, wind, heavy rain, and snow on the passes. So just watch out, slow down, watch for debris and all those other weather elements. We'll talk more in the full forecast a little bit later. Tim?
All right, a lot going on there. Celine, thanks a lot. Well, this number is staggering. 30 crashes into one Northeast Portland home. Neighbors say they've been keeping track, and last night it got really serious. Libby Dowsett is live at Northeast Weidler and 24th, where neighbors got a sudden wake up by a big boom and shooting flames. Libby, a really scary situation.
That's right, Tim. It has happened again. A car came around this curve over here, lost control, as is standard for this corner, crashed right into this house. And what makes it different is it landed on a natural gas meter. The car burst into flames. The flames went right up this 3-story house. Massive flames shooting from a house in Northeast Portland at Weidler and 24th, shocking both neighbors and firefighters Christmas Eve night.
It was a big, almost like a bomb went off.
Within, a minute, the gas line was exploding and just huge ball of fire from the initial impact.
I could feel the heat from my bathroom window, and it was just like humongous flames. It was really terrifying.
A driver missed the curve, and this 1909 Portland home was hit again.
And when it struck the gas meter, it severed that gas meter, and the gas was naturally flowing from the underground line through the vehicle, and flames were being deflected by the vehicle, so the entire house appeared as if it was on fire, heavy fire being shown.
Once crews assessed the 4-unit house, turns out the natural gas fire only burned the exterior walls. No flames inside and no one injured, except for one of the cats, whom firefighters provided oxygen.
Where there was a lot of water in play, a lot of engines in play, simply because of the uniqueness of this fire.
The fire blew out the windows of Mike Powers' house next door, who's lived here for 30 years. He said crews just finished repairing his neighbor's front porch 3 days ago from the last crash. He and his wife stopped counting at 29.
We had one that hit my car in the driveway here, drove it through the garage door and into her car.
How many times have you complained to the city, do you think?
I think we did 4 or 5 times and then finally gave up. We talked to the people who came out and put in these signs. They tell us to keep complaining.
We heard the same thing from other neighbors.
Unfortunately, one of the responses was just adding stuff will just confuse people and it's not going to help.
It happens so much. Like, these poles get knocked down all the time.
This intersection design just makes this inevitable. And I know people have been fighting long and hard to change the roadway design, and this is the moment we need to do it. This is not okay.
And Tim, I will tell you, the drivers are slowing down as they come around this corner when they see our lights. We did reach out to Portland Police for more information on the driver, and we did not hear back from them today on this Christmas Day. The fire department, though, says the one person who was able to get out of this house safely has been referred to the Red Cross. Now back to you.
All right, Libby, thanks very much for the report. Well, Oregon health officials are alerting pet owners after a cat in Washington County died after eating locally manufactured pet food that later tested positive for bird flu. The state veterinarian says avian influenza has been in Oregon since 2022, but as he explains to our Alma McCarty, this case is somewhat unique.
This is the first one that I'm aware of where we've seen it with a commercially packaged raw pet food.
Pet food tests positive for bird flu. More specifically, this product, Northwest Naturals brand 2-pound feline turkey recipe raw frozen pet food, which was voluntarily recalled by the Portland-based company on Tuesday. The recalled product is packaged in 2-pound blue plastic bags with best used by dates listed for 5/21/26 and 6/23/2026.
So we've seen lots of cases where animals have been infected by consuming the virus. So it would follow that if you feed an animal raw meat or raw, even prepared raw commercial food that contains meat that may have virus in it, that it would be possible to infect them. And so that's what appears to have happened here.
Dr. Ryan Scholes, the state veterinarian, and his team came to this conclusion after running tests on a cat from Washington County that had died. They found it was an indoor-only cat, so it hadn't come into contact with birds or other wildlife outside.
Most of the exposures we would normally assume to be the source weren't really an option. And so we dove down a little deeper, found out that they were feeding a raw pet food.
Then they tested the bag of food the cat had been eating.
Found virus in that pet food that exactly matched the whole genome sequencing of the cat's virus.
Now the Department of Agriculture is working with the manufacturer and will partner with other agencies to find out more about the contamination.
The rest of that investigation to track it back, figure out how this happened, is something that will likely take some time. We didn't want to wait for that before getting this recall out there because we know that this food is distributed fairly widely.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Portland police have released new information about the in-custody death of a stabbing suspect earlier this month, including body-worn camera footage from the arresting officers and a warning. Some of the video may be difficult for you to watch. The night of December 11th, a Plaid Pantry employee was walking to work when they were stabbed outside the store at Going and North Interstate. The victims survived the attack. A short time later, a PPB public safety support specialist spotted a man down on a sidewalk 2 blocks away. At the time, the officer didn't know the man was a suspect in the stabbing. 43-year-old Matthew Greer was conscious and talking when other officers arrived. He complained of pain in his arms and legs and was unable to stand, so police called EMS for a medical evaluation. Officers then determined Greer was the suspect from the stabbing and put him in handcuffs without resistance. They rolled him onto his side to help him breathe. Minutes later, though, he lost consciousness. He was uncuffed and officers performed CPR until paramedics arrived. They also tried to revive Greer but could not, and he died at the scene. The state medical examiner found that his death was not connected to any outside trauma. The officers were put on administrative leave but have been cleared now to return to work. The investigation continues and the district attorney will conduct a review of that incident. Well, right now, police in Vancouver need your help identifying the man you see on your screen right now who they say was involved in an assault in downtown Vancouver. In fact, it was earlier this afternoon that police say that suspect assaulted 2 strangers in downtown Vancouver. We're working to get more information about exactly what happened and the victim's conditions. If you recognize that person, please call Vancouver Police. Well, early this morning, Portland Fire responded to this in the Buckman neighborhood. A dumpster outside the 76th station at Burnside and Southeast 20th. It was set ablaze. It put up a lot of smoke and the flames, but those flames did not spread beyond its cinder block enclosure. Firefighters able to put it out in just a couple of minutes. The spirit of giving is alive and well in the Rose City on this Christmas. This morning in downtown Portland, volunteers with the Union Gospel Mission served up a warm and hearty holiday brunch to more than 300 people in need, complete with glazed ham, mac and cheese, greens, rolls, and of course, desserts.
Is a lot of the people that we work with who are experiencing homelessness, they eat outside, they stand in line for their food, and we want the holiday to feel special. So they come in, sit down, we have all these awesome volunteers, they serve them more like it's a restaurant. We're just trying to give them something a little extra special for the holidays.
In addition to today's meal, Union Gospel Mission provided 600 food baskets for needy families, with enough food inside those baskets to feed at least 5 people. Their search and rescue mobile outreach team also provided holiday meals this past weekend. In all, they estimate feeding nearly 4,000 people this Christmas week. And in another Christmas tradition, the Portland Art Museum welcomed the community inside for potluck in the park. More than 300 volunteers served up a tasty Christmas dinner for more than 1,000 guests in the Fields Ballroom, along with some live jazz and photos with Santa.
It's a lot of work, but just to be around here and see the smiles and the joy on everybody's faces makes every bit of it worth it.
Sure does. This is the 30th year for the Christmas dinner event. Meantime, Potluck in the Park offers free hot meals every Sunday to those in need in the North Park blocks downtown. Rain or shine, they say they have not missed a Sunday in 33 years.